Peace. What's going on, everybody? Give everybody a chance to tune on in, tap in with your boy before I start building on the subject matter. Hopefully, y'all having a powerful Tuesday thus far, man. So I'm gonna give everybody a chance to tune in. Got some important things to discuss today, man. So talk to me before I start talking to y'all. What's the word? How everybody living? How everybody holding up out here, man? Talk to me. What's the word? Everybody maintaining on this powerful Tuesday, man. Hopefully y'all had y'all fruits this morning, man. Drinking y'all water, all that good stuff, man. Did your meditation, affirmations, whatever it is that you do, whatever your ritual is. Hopefully y'all indulge in the ritual this morning, man. Keeping everything peaceful and positive and balanced. All those good things, man. So we got some important things to discuss today, man. Got to get some things off my chest regarding this particular subject matter, man. So I'm gonna talk to y'all real quick, man, before I start really going into the subject matter, man, giving y'all some inspiration, man, some motivation out here, man. A lot of people been having a lot of conversations with people lately, man. A lot of people seem like they facing, depression is real big out here, man. A lot of people are battling depression. A lot of people are having a lot of breakdowns here as of late, just mentally. And I'm talking about a lot of my people. I'm always talking about black people, man, because I deal with my people first. So a lot of black people, it seems, during these times are having a lot of mental issues, man, mental problems, man. So I just want to tell everybody, I want to encourage everybody, man, keep your head up, man. Like Pac said, I know it's a cliche, but definitely keep your head up out here, man. You gonna make it, man. You gonna survive. Just keep pushing, keep fighting, man. The world needs you. So we cannot allow you, and you cannot allow yourself to quit, man. You are needed. Your talents, your skills, everything is needed. You still got a mission to accomplish. You still got goals to knock out the park. So we need you, man. You cannot quit out here, man. Do not give up on yourself. Do not give up on yourself, man. You still got a purpose to fulfill out here, man. So I just want to let everybody know that. Thunder, peace. What's happening? What's happening? Travian, peace. What's going on, man? Life is amazing. Life been amazing for you. That's what I'm talking about, man. Life is amazing. Life is amazing. Nick, peace. What's happening, man? You say you opened up the catering. Let's get it. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Soon as I'm able to support, I'm supporting that joint. Mac, peace. What's happening, man? Hey, keep listening to that song. Whatever you got to do, man, to get through the tough situation, man. If you got to listen to a song repeatedly, listen to that song, man. If you got to jot some things down repeatedly, jot them things down, man. If you got to do chants, like whatever it is that you got to do to push yourself through that obstacle, man, then you must do that. You must keep doing it. Must keep doing it, man, because again, man, life can be rough, man. Life can be rough. Life can be challenging, man. But that's what makes it so great when you accomplish your goals, man, because then you can look back on all the obstacles, man, that you had to run through, and it'll make it that much more great when you accomplish that goal, man, when you fulfill that purpose. Santriez, peace. What's happening, man? Everything is smooth, man. Everything is centered. I'm peaceful, man. Everything is peace. Javon, peace. What's happening? What's happening? What's the word? What's the word, man? Everything is good, man. Just giving y'all a little motivation and inspiration, man, before I start diving into this topic, man. Keep y'all heads up out here, man. Pac said it best, man, but I'm telling y'all again, 2021, we got to keep our heads up out here. It's a lot of people that want to see us fail. It's a lot of people that want to see you fall, man. You cannot give them that satisfaction. So you got to keep pushing, man. That's the best revenge right there, man, just to keep it pushing, man. Ignore all the people that want to see you fail. Ignore all the people that want to see you fall. That's the best revenge. We got to stop feeding those people. Got to stop feeding them, man. That's food for them. We got to stop feeding them. We got to starve those individuals. And the best way to starve the individuals that want to see you fall, that's preying on your downfall, is to ignore them and to focus on yourself and do what you need to do. That's the best way to starve those individuals, man. Stop feeding them. Stop giving them your energy. Just stop giving them your energy. Stop doing it. Oh, Nick, for sure. For sure. I got you. I got you, no doubt, man. Most definitely got you. And where you at again, Nick? Man, I may know some people wherever you at, man. Put the word out. I may know some people down where you at, man. I forgot where you at, though, man. Just let me know where you at again. And if I got some people down that way, I'm going to definitely start shooting people your way, man. We connected out here. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be a powerful build, man. I just want to build on consciousness, brothers and sisters acquiring knowledge, and how that doesn't necessarily equate to them being a good brother or good sister in regards to just relationships and just a good person in general. A lot of times, man, a lot of people be shocked when certain individuals display like heinous acts in regards to their treatment of the other sex or whatever the case may be. So you may have a conscious brother or a conscious sister, and they are mistreating their significant other or people that they deal with. And a lot of times people are surprised. They be like, oh man, such and such out here dropping all of this knowledge, and he out here or she out here mistreating, you know what I'm saying? He out here mistreating this woman, this, that, and the third. Well, I feel like the first the first mistake right there, the first error is that we assume out the gate that just because somebody has a certain level of knowledge that they are putting everything into motion. That's the first mistake. Just because you know something don't necessarily mean that you are doing it. You living out the reality. That's not what that equates to. That's not what that translates over to. So we got to learn how to separate that, man. Just because somebody talking the good talk don't mean they walking that walk. And a lot of times, a lot of people think that, man. We got to understand, especially when it comes to these platforms on social media, we got to understand that a lot of people are on these platforms dropping this knowledge just to get attention, just to get fame, just to get money. So we got to understand that, man. They not on here dropping this information for them to put it into motion so they can become a better individual. They dropping this information just so they can manipulate minds and make money and generate attention and generate fame. So we have got to understand that, man. Everybody that's dropping some knowledge is not sincere out here, not genuine. So we have got to understand that, man, because that's a big problem. It's a big problem. Just because people out here sounding good, talking a good talk, don't necessarily mean they are a good person. And a lot of people, and that surprises a lot of people. So, man, when you are one of the individuals that's acquiring this knowledge, you have always got to apply to yourself. That's one of the reasons why I don't like to talk about certain things until I put it into motion for myself. I don't want to be that contradiction. I don't want to be that hypocrite. If I'm saying something, I want to be living it out. I don't want to talk that good talk, but I'm not walking according to that information and that knowledge that I'm spitting out. So when you come across this knowledge, man, you need to make sure that you are applying it to self first and foremost before you go out here trying to teach that information. Again, we take everything and we apply it to self. A lot of these dudes are skipping that step. They taking this information and they say, okay, I can take this information. I can use this information to generate some type of attention. Then when I generate this attention, then I can acquire money. I can acquire funds, generate wealth, whatever it is that you striving towards. No, you supposed to take that information. You supposed to take that knowledge, apply it to yourself. Help yourself with that information first. Self-preservation. Then you teach. You teach what you have learned. You teach what you have learned and implemented. You teach what you have learned and put into motion. That's how that's supposed to work. But we go acquire information, manipulate other people. That's what we do. That's the process. Not acquire information, apply it to self, then teach what I've learned. That is the proper order. But that's not the order that it tends to go in, man. So you got to be mindful of that. A lot of these people are talking, a lot of these dudes, a lot of these women on here talking a good talk. And what they saying may be true for the most part. It may be truth to it. But again, we got to learn how sometimes we got to learn how to separate the information from the individual. So just because an individual who has information doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to treat you right and treat you good. Hey, Dallas, there you go, man. Keep it pushing. Keep it pushing for sure. Oh, yeah, Nick, I got people all through that area, man. Got you. I definitely got you. Nikki, Peace Queen, what's happening? What's happening? What's the word? But I know we've all been there, done that, man. And a lot of times, man, you got to be mindful, too, of people who act impressed by your knowledge, your wisdom, your understanding, but they really not interested. So we got to be mindful of those individuals, too. You know, sometimes whether it's a male or a female, I mean, yeah, whether it's a male or a female, sometimes you got to be mindful of an individual that just may want to have you by their side simply because of the potential, not the potential, but the idea of the situation. You know, they may have parents that want them to have a certain type of dude, or they may think it's the holy grail to have a certain type of dude, just have an intelligent man. So that's the only reason that they are acting interested in your information, your knowledge, wisdom, and your understanding for the look. Like, yeah, I got this dude. Yeah, my man is smart. My man is intelligent. Oh, wow. They don't necessarily care about what it is that you know. It's all for show, you know, so you got to be mindful of that type of stuff as well, because that happens. That happens a lot too, man. So you got to be mindful, man. You always got to keep your guards up out here, man. You always got to keep your guards up, man, because people be having ulterior motives, man. People be having ulterior motives. Static, peace, what's happening? Nias, create strategy, peace, what's going on? Lindell, Montel, peace. Nias, always, man. Always stepping on toes, but we cool. We ain't worried about that. We ain't worried about stepping on people's toes. They'll be all right. They'll recover. They'll recover. So you just got to keep your guards up, man. So again, like, that was one thing I took to heart when I started to come across this knowledge. First and foremost, I said, all right, man, I got to come across this knowledge. I'm coming across this knowledge for a reason. One of the reasons why I'm coming across this knowledge is for it to help myself. You know, so we got to understand that, man. You coming across this information, you coming across that dietary information to help yourself first. So you got to make sure you implementing what you've learned first. Then you take it. Then you take it and you take it to the streets and you teach other people what you have learned and experienced, you know. And then once you come across this information, you got to be mindful of the people who may be attracted to you for the wrong reasons. Like I said, to show you off, like, yeah, look at my man, he's smart. Or look at my lady, she's smart. Oh, wow, they don't care anything about what it is you actually know. So you got to be mindful of that on both ends. The wife is in the building. Y'all say peace to the wife. And then we got to stop just assuming things as well. Assumption is killing us, you know. Assumption is killing us. It's almost like when entertainers come out, like, you will be a fan of somebody, then they'll come out and they'll do some dirt, and you in your mind, not even in your mind, people just come out and say it overtly. Like, I can't believe such and such would be capable of doing something like that. That's your first mistake. Everybody is capable of doing some dirt. Everybody is capable of doing wicked things, man. Everybody is capable of it. I don't put it past anybody. So we got to stop acting surprised when people do certain things. It never surprises me. I don't care if this is the smartest person on the planet. They still can't. Matter of fact, you got to watch them the most. They tend to be the most deceptive out here, man. So you got to watch them the most. So I don't care who the person is. I don't care who the person is. I don't put anything past anyone. We are all capable. We are all capable of doing wicked things. And that's just a fact. That's just a fact, man. I don't care how much information you have. I don't care how healthy you eat. Like, I don't care how positive you think. We all capable of snapping. We all capable of doing dirt. We all capable of doing wicked things, man. That's just a fact of life. So we got to stop assuming just because somebody has a certain status that, oh, I can't believe that they would do that. Why? Why couldn't you believe? What's so surprising? What's so shocking when your favorite entertainer, you know what I'm saying, your favorite entertainer, your favorite celebrity, when they do something that's wicked? Why is that surprising to you? Why is that surprising to you? Why do you think that they're not capable of such acts? DJ Elmo, peace, what's happening? And Nias, there you go. And that's how you do it. So that's why a lot of times now I'm done talking about a lot of things, man. I'm just showing and proving through my ways and actions. Just like Anaya said, when I heal completely, I'll show them veganism works. That's it. That's how we talk to them. That's how we got to talk to what we would call the 85%, the deaf, dumb, and blind, those that's easily led in the wrong direction. We got to talk to them by showing and proving through our ways and actions, through our lifestyle. And even still, it may not reach them. But that's the best way to talk, man. I'm done with giving a lot of facts and just talking a lot to these people who are not really receptive to the information. I'm just showing and proving through my lifestyle. When you see me walking around energetic and vibrant while the whole world is sick, then you may have some questions. And then I may have some answers for you. But I'm no longer about to just volunteer that information to you when you're not receptive to it. That's how we got to do it. And that's what a lot of people out here are doing. They volunteering this information. They volunteering this information to the public. And for the most part, a lot of the public ain't really ready for some of this information. Whole while they doing the total opposite of what it is that they teaching and preaching. It's preaching at that point, because we know what preaching is. The preachers out here preaching that good message, but behind closed doors, they are wicked, you know, for the most part. Some of your favorite people on YouTube, man, some of your favorite people in general, they doing the same thing. They sounding good on YouTube. They sounding good on Facebook. They sounding good on Instagram. Whole while their life is in total contradiction to what it is that they are telling you to do. Got to be mindful of that. Oh yeah, Nick, for sure. For sure. And DJ, nah, no sir. No sir. No sir. And this just based on reflection, man. Just reflection. A lot of time, and this just me reflecting on my life too. A lot of people, just even with situations that I've dealt with in regards to fam, a lot of people have held me to this higher standard simply because of the way that I may carry myself. Just me having that thirst and that hunger for information, for knowledge. So with that, people hold me to that higher standard. So then when I snap, when I do things that goes against that perception that they've created of me in their head, then they surprised and shocked. So it's like, man, why are you surprised and shocked when I snap? Like I'm not capable of snapping. Like, man, I'm just as capable of snapping as anybody else. I don't care how many books I've read, you know, I'm working on it. I don't snap as much as I used to, but I'm just as capable as anybody else. I'm just as capable of anybody else, man. But again, I'm always a work in progress, as we like to call it. So I'm always working on it, you know. But when you tend to go off the rails, man, people like, oh, OMG, I can't believe you was cursing like that, or I can't believe you was that angry, you was that frustrated. Like, I can't believe it. Like, why, man? Why? Like, don't be surprised, man. If y'all see me snap, don't be surprised, man. I done had anger issues. I done had temper issues for the longest. Since I can remember, I done had these type of issues, man. Those issues don't just go away overnight when you read a book or 2 or 3 or 100. It don't work like that, man. Don't work like that, man. You have got to constantly work on yourself, man. If you had a bad habit, if you had an issue for 20, 25 plus years, like, it's not just going to change overnight. Again, I don't care how knowledgeable you are. I don't care how wise you are. Things like that don't change overnight, man. You ain't just going to read a book and then overnight you change. It's a work in progress, man. That's why I'm always taking the information that I gather and I'm utilizing it to work on myself before I take it to the streets. So it's a lot of information that I can dish out to the people, but I'm not comfortable dishing it out because I'm still implementing it. I'm still on the experiment phase or stage with the information. So that's why it may take me a longer time to bring some information to the table, because I'm always experimenting with the information. And when I experiment with the information and then I say, okay, man, I experimented with it and it was beneficial, then I'm gonna bring it to the surface. A lot of people be too quick, too eager to bring some information to the surface. As soon as they read something, they like, all right, I'm gonna bring this information to the surface. You ain't even implemented what you read. So I can't trust you. And that's why a lot of people get hit with the pseudo label. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you read something, now you bringing it to the surface like you an expert in the field. Like you reading about eating healthy, yet you ain't practicing it. I can't trust you at that particular point. And everything you saying can be true. But man, you have got to at least implement what it is that you have learned first, man. At least got to do that. DJ Elmo for sure, man. And that box is the worst thing to be placed in. But at the same time, like, it's cool because, like I said, when I slip up, I'm my own worst critic. So when I slip up, I'm harder on myself than anybody else. So it doesn't really faze me when other people be like, man, I can't believe you. Before they even do that, I'm already in my own head like, man, I gotta chill out. I can't be acting like that. I can't do that. So I'm already in my own head before somebody else get to me. You know, so that's how I am. I'm my own worst critic, and I suggest everybody else be that too. So it doesn't take me long to realize that, hey, I was tripping. I need to calm down. I can't be acting like that, man. That's a bad look. And that's accountability, which a lot of people lack, man. Accountability, we already know, especially in the Black community, we lack that accountability, man. So I stay in my own head. So when I slip up, I'm the first one. I'm going to be the first one to say, hey, man, calm down. You tripping, man. You need to tone it down a little bit. You can't be acting like that. And I'm going to learn from that mistake. I'm going to learn from that error. So it's a lesson at the end of the day, but I'm going to learn from it. A lot of people don't learn from it. Instead, we going to start blaming everybody else. We going to start blaming everybody else. Got to stop doing that, man. Got to stop doing that. And that's one thing, that's a problem I have. And that's one of the reasons why I wasn't too fond when people start talking about the spiritual people, the people that use that label and say they're not religious, they spiritual. One of the, you know what I'm saying, one of the reasons why I wasn't necessarily too fond of those individuals, man, because a lot of them, I don't know if you all have witnessed this or if it's just me, but a lot of people that was dropping that type of knowledge, man, they was like full of themselves, like for real, full of themselves, man. It didn't seem like a lot of them can control their emotions. So I really wasn't too fond of it. I'm like, man, y'all dropping all this spiritual information, and the foundation, part of the foundation of all this spiritual information is being in control of your emotions. And a lot of these dudes, a lot of these women, they can't control their emotions. They get more riled up than the religious people that they criticize. So it was like, man, I ain't too much fond of that, man. Y'all giving all this information about being in control, mastering oneself, mastering one's emotions. Whole while you can't master your emotions. Like, that's a contradiction to me. That's hypocrisy. So that's one of the reasons why I don't take a lot of them seriously, man, because it seems like they don't even make any strides to attempt to master their emotions, master themselves and things of that nature, man. I ain't got time for that. While I may slip up, I'm always striving to master my emotions. So I'm not letting my emotions, or I do not allow my emotions to drive me 100% of the time. And a lot of these dudes that was dropping that type of information, like 95% of the time, they driven by emotions. And I'm like, man, that's a bad trait, especially coming from a grown man. Sad to say, I come from the old school. Look, I was raised by old school pops. We don't listen, we not overly emotional as men. Like, that's just not how I was raised. So when I see dudes like that, that's just overly emotional, while they telling you to master their emotions or master your emotions, I can't rock with it. I can't rock with it. And the ego is terrible. Ego is terrible. Man, when you start seeing these dudes, man, just dropping the spiritual dudes, when they start dropping their little information, man, the ego is crazy. And again, part of the foundation and some of that spiritual metaphysical information that they dropping tells you to let go of the ego. So I'm like, man, the foundation of y'all teachings, y'all going against the very foundation of it. Don't understand that. Won't no part of that type of stuff, man. And so that's why I be trying to tell people, man, those individuals can be the worst. They got all of this information, and it's easy for them to deceive you because they can talk a good talk, man. So you got to watch them. And they like a car salesman. A lot of these dudes be talking a good talk, man. You got to watch them, though. You got to really pay attention to what it is that they saying, and you got to pay attention to what it is that they doing, because it sounds good, and that's how they get you. They know and understand the power of words, so they know they can manipulate you through words. So they gonna use fancy language that you don't quite understand, and it's gonna reel you in. You're gonna think that this person is tapped into something that I can't tap into, so I'm gonna follow this person, and then they got you. Now a scam artist has been created. A monster has been created. They manipulating you through that language, through words. So you got to be mindful of that, man. You got to be mindful of that. That's how a lot of these cats get you, man. They master words, man. So they talking that good talk, and to you it sounded good. It's like, man, that sounds good, man. What such and such saying sounds powerful. I'm a fool with them, man. They must know something I don't know. I'm a rock with them. Oh wow, man. They deceiving you. They manipulating you, man. They getting you to follow them so they can profit off of you. So they can profit off of your ignorance. So we got to be mindful. And like I said, whole while they criticizing religion, and they criticizing the pastor and the preacher, and they doing the exact same thing. They doing the exact same thing. So y'all got to be mindful of that, man. Just because you get into a relationship with some like a conscious dude or a conscious woman doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be a good relationship. That might be that might be the worst relationship you ever enter, to be honest with you, man. Because like I said, those individuals tend to be the most deceptive because they're going to be hitting you with a lot of information, a lot of things that sound good, man. And they're going to have you under a spell for a moment. You're going to have to break that spell. So you just got to be mindful of that, man. Be very mindful of that. Pay attention to one's ways and actions. Don't pay attention to what they saying. Pay attention to the ways and actions. That's going to reveal the truth. People talk about revelation. That's what revelation is, the revealing the truth. That's what it is. That's going to be the revelation. When you pay attention to the ways and actions, it's going to reveal that truth. It's going to be a revelation. But we pay attention to the words, man, what they saying. It sounds good. It sounds good. I can't tell you how many women have been tricked simply because a dude just spit that game on. And it didn't happen to brothers. That sister came to you talking the good talk. Whole while wasn't walking according to that talk at all. A lot of people that fell victim to that reality, man. So you got to stop paying attention to merely the words that they speak and try to line up what they saying with how they walking. Got to start doing that, man. A lot of times we just listen to what they saying. Okay, man, they said they want this, that, and the third, but they ways and actions ain't correlating with what it is that they said they want. So I'm gonna pay attention to the way that they move, and they ways and actions gonna outweigh what it is that they saying. Just like that child looking at that parent like that's telling them to do as I say, not as I do. That child like, nah, like I'm paying more attention to your actions. You told me to do something, but you're not doing it. That's confusing to me. I'm paying attention to your actions. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Oh, Dallas, man, listen. It's still some people out here dropping that information, still manipulating the minds, man. Still got people. You could be brainwashing all those communities, man. You can be brainwashing the religious community. You can be brainwashing the spiritual community. You can be brainwashed in the science community. You can be brainwashing all these communities, man. You can be brainwashing all of them. Oh, DJ Elmo for sure. Always keep that ego in check. Always. And nice. And that's the way to be, honestly. That's the way to be, honestly. Like, that is the best way to be, man. You definitely want to have your emotions in check, man. You don't want to be driven by the emotions. You don't want to be driven by the ego. You don't want to be. E reacts, peace, what's going on? Art of deception, for sure. Oh, static, man, most definitely. As Dead Press had a song say, your way may not be my way. You know what I'm saying? And that's the truth. That's the truth, man. Everybody's journey is definitely different, man. Everybody's journey is definitely different, man. We got to understand that, man. Definitely got to understand that, especially when you're dealing with other people in regards to like relationships, whether it's with family, friends, or a spouse, things of that nature. You got to understand that your way may not be their way, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta understand that. It's cool if both of y'all on the same path, you know, and walking at the same pace and whatnot. That's cool and whatnot, but we got to understand that that may not be the case most of the time. Oh, DJ Elmo for sure. For sure. And that's a cliche saying, but it's an actual fact. Actions most definitely speak louder than the words, man. Now, your words should be your bond, man. So if you say you're going to do something, then you ought to do it. So your words should be your bond, man. As the lesson says, I will give my life before my word shall fail. That's how it should be. But that's not how it is most of the time. So a lot of people say something, but then they don't follow through on what it was that they promised or said, you know. So those actions got to speak a little bit louder than the words, man, because you can say anything, but what you do ultimately is what matters, man. So again, we ain't paying attention to what's said. We paying attention to what's done, what you're doing. As real, peace, what's happening? Lindell for sure, man, for sure. You got to be able to break it down to yourself, man. And that's the thing, man. It's understanding. It's called knowledge, wisdom, and understanding for a reason. See, like I said, a lot of times we stop at the one. We stop at the one. So a lot of these dudes, a lot of these women out here, they putting out information that they don't, not only did they not put it into motion, but they don't even understand what it is that they saying. So a lot of people are putting out information and they lack the understanding of the information that they pushing out. And that's dangerous, man. So you always want to make sure before you go out here putting information out, you need to make sure you at least understand what it is that you are putting out. You need to make sure you at least understand the information and understand the knowledge, man. The understanding should be understood before you go out here teaching it, preaching it, whatever you want to call it. So a lot of times that's not the case, man. We're not understanding the information. So the understanding is, as we call it, the best part. But a lot of people don't even get to that 3. They don't even get to that understanding. They don't even get to the 2. They just get to, I just got this information. Let me put it out there. Do you understand this information, though? So a lot of people skip the understanding, man. Like I said, they skip the wisdom. They skip putting it into motion, but they definitely skip the understanding. So if they do put it into motion, they may lack the understanding of what's actually happening. And that understanding is very important, man. You got to understand what it is that you teach it. Got to understand it. And that makes it easier to teach once you gain that understanding. Yeah, wisdom and like emotion is overriding everything these days. Everything these days. Like emotions have their place, but like emotions are overruling everything these days. We tend to just react solely based on emotions. That's how we move. That's how we react these days, man. We don't have any logic, any reasoning behind anything. We just straight emotional. We're gonna react off pure emotion, and that's it. We ain't gonna put no reason, no logic behind anything that we doing. You know, and that's the wave of today's climate. Like we gotta change that, man. You gotta think. Elijah Muhammad said, think what about 7 times before you speak. How many people are actually doing that? And this is before you speak, not before you move and before you do anything, man. People don't even think before they speak out here. They just say whatever it is they want to say for shock value. You know what I'm saying? So we got to start thinking more, man. Man, you know how, listen, something as simple as thinking before you speak and thinking before you make a move can benefit your life greatly, can improve your life significantly. Just thinking before you speak, thinking before you make a move. Just think, man. Just think about it. A lot of people don't do it. A lot of people don't do that. Travian for sure. For sure. And I'm always a student. I tell people all the time, I don't know nothing. I don't know anything. And that's what, and a lot of these, again, and it comes with it, man. A lot of like people don't want to admit it half the time. I don't even like, I say it like this, man, because with that attention, a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, that attention, that fame, that money, when people start getting money, I don't want to say it changes a person, but it pretty much, it just highlights or intensifies the person that they already were, you know? So if you was a fool before you got the money, once you get the money, you just become a rich fool. That's it. So if you was a stubborn person when you was broke and nobody fooled with you and you get a lot of attention and money, you just become a stubborn, famous person. Like that's it. And that's what people don't understand. Like people think that when people get this money, all of a sudden they supposed to act a certain type of way. No, it don't work like that. Just like when these athletes generate all this wealth, man, when they go from 18, 19 to 20, and then all of a sudden they a millionaire. People be like, man, I can't believe they went broke. I can't believe they did this, that, and the third. Man, do the knowledge to their upbringing. Like they came from the same slums that you came from. Like they didn't know what, they don't know what money, like they don't know how to function with this money. They don't know how to function with millions. Why you think they supposed to learn how to function with millions overnight? They went from a 19-year-old broke kid to all of a sudden a 19-year-old millionaire. Why do we think that they supposed to become responsible overnight just because they got this money? It doesn't work like that. And a lot of people think that's how the world works. Oh, if I get this money, oh, I'm gonna do this, then the third, all my problems gonna go away. No, it's not. It doesn't work like that, man. Money doesn't do that for you. Money doesn't do that for you, man. Like you gotta change yourself, man. Money not gonna change you. Being in a relationship not gonna change you. Having a child not gonna change you. Only you can change you. It's your responsibility. That's your responsibility. Oh, JB for sure, man. And then JB, on top of that, you say men need to learn how to speak softly to women to make their message more receivable. With that, we just gotta know and understand. We gotta learn that when it comes to communication, everybody is different. So the way you may talk to one person and reach them, if you try to talk to the next person that same way, they may not be receptive to it. So we got to understand that, man. You can't communicate to everybody the same and expect them to receive it the same. So we just got to understand, man, that everybody learns and receives messages differently. That's a part of the game, man. So when you approach somebody and try to communicate to them and it's ineffective, then you go back to the drawing board. You be like, all right, man, I felt like I communicated to them properly, but they didn't receive it. So you got to see what it is. You know what I'm saying? You got to figure out how you need to present that message to them, what you need to tweak in regards to the way you presented it the first time. So we just got to understand that we always expect for people to be receptive of what it is that we saying. And we don't want to look in the mirror and say, I may not be presenting that information or that message correctly. So a lot of times we fail to look in the mirror. We just blame everybody else. Oh, you ain't listening. You ain't this, that, and the third. No, it may be the way that I'm presenting it. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we got to understand that. Just look in the mirror. It may be your presentation. Your presentation may not be wrong to the next person, but to this person, it's just not effective, you know? So you just got to change it up. You got to change it up based off the individual. If you know what I'm saying, if you dating out here, you got to know and understand that everybody that you date going to be different. They ain't going to all be the same. So you got to, you know what I'm saying, you got to understand that. All right, the way I dealt with such and such may not work with this particular individual. So you got to feel the person out to see what it is, like how I need to communicate with this person, how I need to treat that person. Like you got to treat people differently, man, according to how they are and who they are. Hey, Mac, man, you might just be getting more in tune with the emotional side of self, man. You may have neglected it for so long and suppressed it for so long. Now it's finally coming to the surface. Now you just got to deal with it, man. Just deal with that emotional side. Don't try to suppress it. And that's probably what you was doing over the years, just suppressing it, not allowing it to surface, not allowing it to flow and run its course. Now just allow that emotional side to run its course, man. Just allow it to run its course, man. Just allow it to flow. Q the Saint, peace. What's happening? Wisdom. I always talk about the ancestors and all the jewels that they left us, man. Ancestors left a lot of jewels, but we tend to not want to listen to the ancestors for the most part, unless it benefits us. Y'all know how we do it, man. We don't bring up a doctrine or we don't bring up something from the past until it benefits us. That's how we tend to do it. Nice for sure. Money magnifies who you are. Oh, Mac, for sure, man, for sure. Like I said, man, we got to stop. We be having high expectations for these individuals, man. You can't do that, man. Like I said, if a person was trash before they became famous, before they got this attention, then when they get the attention, they just gonna be a trash person with all attention. They're gonna be a trash famous person. They're gonna be a trash celebrity. It's just what it is, man. That's just what it is, man. People got to do the work. People got to be willing to change, and a lot of people not willing to change, especially when things happen overnight. So if a person was trash and then next thing you know, overnight they became a celebrity, then it's like they didn't even have the ability. They didn't even have the time to change. They didn't even have the time to work on themselves. You know, so they gonna bask in all the fame and attention, man, and that's gonna get the best of them. For the most part, a lot of people can't handle the attention, the notoriety, the fame. A lot of people can't handle that pressure. A lot of people can't handle it. It's a lot of pressure that comes with that, man. So even when you start studying a lot of people from back in the day, you will see a lot of failed relationships with a lot of these brothers and sisters that had knowledge of self, that was so-called conscious and all of that. Man, a lot of them had rocky history when it comes to relationships in regards to the treatment of women and men and the children and things of that nature, man, because a lot of people just can't handle it. A lot of people can't handle the attention, the fame, but also a lot of people can't handle information. They can't handle getting this information, man. It's overwhelming, man. When you start doing the knowledge, when you start coming across certain pieces of information, it can overwhelm you to the point where a lot of people can't handle it. It causes a lot of people to explode, man, and self-destruct. So you got to be mindful of that, man. That conscious person may be just as depressed as the non-conscious person because that information can be depressing if you don't know what to do with it. That information can be depressing if you don't know how to interpret it correctly. You know what I'm saying? Like that information can definitely depress you. When you start coming across information about the system and all the stuff that's going on, the mistreatment of our people, that can be depressing. That can be depressing if you don't have any vision for in regards to how I'm gonna turn this information and flip it for the better. If you just coming across this information and you just reading it, it is depressing. It's very depressing. Like it will destroy you. You got to find a way to make it useful, though. If you don't find a way to make this information useful to not only you, but for the rest of humanity, then, man, you're just going to be sitting on this depressing information. And that's why a lot of people don't like to do things like watch what they call slave movies, because it makes them angry. It frustrates them. See, I don't have a problem with watching those type of movies. I don't have a problem reading that type of information because I know how to take that information and make it useful, you know. But back in the day, just watching those type of movies, coming across that information, I'm angry. I'm upset. I'm like, man, this is crazy, man. Like, this is wicked. Because I'm just sitting on that information. I don't know what to do with it. Now I know what to do with it. I'm going to take that information and I'm going to use it to educate the people about what happened to us back in the day so that we can prevent it from happening to us now and in the future. That's what I'm going to do with the information. So now it makes me feel better about watching something like that, coming across a piece of information like that, because now I'll make it useful. It's somebody that didn't know that this happened, and I'm gonna bring it to their attention so they can understand the wicked history that we've dealt with, and how we really haven't made any progress. So now I can use this as a teaching tool, something to add to my arsenal. So now I'm taking that knowledge, I'm taking that information, and I'm making it useful. That's how you got to play the game. You just consume that information and don't do anything with it, you're gonna be very depressed. You're gonna be very angry. You're gonna be very frustrated, especially when it comes to this black history, our story. You're gonna be straight frustrated, angry when you see the way that your people was treated back in the day for absolutely no reason other than how they look. You're gonna be frustrated. You gonna listen. I had that phase where I couldn't stand white people, like literally. And I like, man, I want to fight all white people because y'all, the way y'all people treated our people, like I can't stand looking at y'all. You know, so we all done been there. If you done came across this information, if you didn't studied our story deeply enough, I'm pretty sure you went, I'm pretty sure you experienced that phase where you couldn't stand white people, couldn't stand. I'm pretty sure you experienced that phase. I know I'm not the only one. So I'm listening to all this revolutionary music. I'm watching all of these slave movies. I'm reading all this information about how y'all mistreated us and miseducated us. I'm ready to fight the world. Everybody didn't experience that phase, man. Everybody. If you came across that information, you have had to experience that phase. And honestly, I don't even know if I've ever left it, to be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I'm pretty much still in that phase for real. But I just know how to channel it better. I know how to channel it better. Back then, I was just angry. Now I'm not necessarily angry about it. I just know the truth. I just know the truth. Like that's all it is. Now I just know the truth and I look at everything for what it is, not what I feel like it should be. See, back then I thought the world should have been a certain type of way. So when I came across the knowledge, I was like, nah, man, like that's crazy. How could they do us like this? This ain't how the way the world should be. Why can't we all just get along? Y'all know that. Y'all know that particular phrase and whatnot. But now I look at it for what it is. I look at it when I learn the truth about white people, I'm like, all right, I'm learning this truth for a reason. So now when white people, or when the system does something wicked to my people, I'm not surprised and shocked. I'm like, all right, history demonstrates that this is the way that they are. I've learned the truth about them and I have accepted that truth. Joshua, you talking about brainwashed Tom Burrell, the author? Is that the author of that book? If so, Read that book some years ago. That's a powerful joint. That's a powerful joint. Hey, JB, for sure, man. Them some solid tears right there, man, because I feel like, and I was thinking that to myself the other day, man. It was so easy for me to travel down that path, yo. I think it's easy for every black man or a young black man to travel down that path. Like, even if you got a mother and father in your life, it's still easy to live that street life. I mean, we have easy access to it, man. Easy access to it. Unless you sheltered off from the rest of society, like, it's easy for you to travel down that path, man. It's very easy for you to travel down that path. Like, it wasn't nothing stopping me from traveling down that path. Nothing. Could have easily did it, man. Could have easily. I was around it. I was around the people that was doing that type of stuff, man. Could have easily did it, man. Could have easily did it, man. So, like you said, I'm thankful, man. I'm just thankful that I was just wise enough, man, to not travel down that path, man, to learn that, hey, prison and all that type of stuff, that just ain't for me. Like that lifestyle just ain't for the kid, man. Like, I got things I need to accomplish outside of the prison walls. So I'm gonna stick to this type of life right here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful, man, that I was wise enough. And even the brothers that went to prison that did some time and came out right and exact, man, they should definitely be thankful. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you got a second chance. Even the brothers that's locked down for life, that's changing their mentality, still got to be thankful, man, that you ain't allow that system to drive you crazy. Because, you know, they talk about rehabilitation. The prison system ain't all about rehabilitation, man. You got to rehabilitate yourself. Got to rehabilitate yourself at the end of the day, man. But I'm just glad I never put myself in that position to have to learn the hard way, the real hard way. Because I learned some things the hard way, but I didn't have to do that time, you know. So I'm thankful for that, because I could have easily been a part of that life, man. Easily. So I'm always thankful for that, man. But I was thinking about that the other night, man. Like, dang, man, it wasn't nothing stopping me from doing that. I could have easily been out here doing dirt and ended up in prison or something like that. I already fit the description. So people just by default, by looking at me, people think that I'm involved in that type of lifestyle. So all I had to do was give them a reason, and they was gonna lock me up. So I'm glad I never gave them a reason, because I was already a target just by the way that I looked. So, you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have been nothing for me to end up in prison, man. I could have just been doing light work out here, but they would have caught me because I already fit the description. So I had to move a certain type of way. Oh, nice, man. To Die for the People, Huey Newton, one of my favorite books. DJ Helmo for sure. Roxanne, you say no Noble Drew Ali. How bad Noble Drew Ali. I fool with, you know what I'm saying, some of Noble Drew Ali, but I'm not like that though. But I fool with him though. I fool with him slightly. But when it comes to putting people on the wall, it's a lot of people that I rank that I'm gonna place on the wall before Noble Drew Ali, just from personal experience, man. Just the people that have inspired me. Noble Drew Ali ain't really high on my list in regards to inspiration. I respect what he did, but when it comes to people that inspire me, like these two brothers for sure, and you got to throw, you know what I'm saying, throw Malcolm in the mix and Elijah Muhammad, them and all of that type of stuff, man. These people that literally changed my life via their work. So I got to give them the credit before I give anybody else the credit. If they had a flag for Amos Wilson, he would be on this wall for sure. A lot of people don't know about Amos Wilson, man. But if they had a flag if I had one for Amos Wilson, he would be on this mug for sure. Most definitely, though. Amos Wilson was my dude in regards to the books that he put out and the speeches that he have on YouTube. Dallas for sure, man. For sure, man. Don't even get me started. But now I'm able to critique these movies and things like that without getting upset and angry. So that's progress, man. That's me evolving. You know what I'm saying? That I'm able to do that. Back then I used to just get frustrated. Wisdom for sure, man. Gotta find something to die for. But I'd rather find something to live for, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to live. I'm striving to live. I feel like subconsciously, when you find something to die for, like you pretty much speaking that into existence. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather opt for finding something to live for. So then you speak in life. Because essentially the same thing that you would die for, you should live for. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'd rather live for it than die for it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I kind of flip that. Because again, power in the tongue, man. So when you say I'm willing to die for this, then hey, don't be surprised when it actually happens, because it's like you speaking that. And that's gonna be the energy that surrounds you, because you always talking about you're ready to die, and I'm dying for this, and I'm ready to die for that. That's too much death around me. Now I'm ready to live for this, and I'm living for my people. I'm living for my people. I'm not dying for my people. I'm living for my people. You know what I'm saying? So think about how powerful I became when I say I'm living for my people instead of dying for them. I'm willing to live for my people. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta increase the lifespan of those that come with that powerful message. And a lot of times, man, even Malcolm X, he was saying he was living his life like a person that's already dead. So it ain't surprising when death meets a person like that. So a lot of the people, a lot of our great ancestors back in the day, like they had this mentality that death was around the corner. Like look at Pac and all that type of stuff, man. They pretty much spoke that upon themselves, man. So we got to be mindful of that. Got to be mindful of that. So I'm talking about what I'm willing to live for, most definitely. So we always should settle on living for something. Oh, Joshua, for sure. Then that book is peace. That book is peace. Nick, man, listen, Nick. And that's another thing too in regards to this particular title. When it says consciousness doesn't equate to a good man or woman, take it a step further. When you conscious about a particular subject and you still ain't doing better, that's a problem, man. When you conscious about health, like and I know y'all done been there, done that, coming across the information that's telling you basically everything that you've been taught was a lie, and you need to live this way of life that's totally different from the way of life that you was living. Like when you come across that information, it's not that easy to just change overnight. Whole while everything is adding up and making sense, man. Like it's a process. Everything is a process, man. I remember it like it was yesterday when I was reading these books and listening to this music that was telling me how poisonous meat is and how you need to lay off the dairy. And I'm like, man, I'm thinking about the food pyramid. I'm like, yo, I'm like, these are things they telling us we need to be eating every day. And I'm like, y'all telling me this stuff is killing me? Man, I was like, that destroyed me for a minute, man. I was like, oh, this is crazy. So everything I'm eating right now, everything I love to eat right now, you telling me how harmful it is. You telling me it's increasing my risk for all type of cancers and diabetes and heart problems. But they didn't taught me to love these foods. They didn't put these foods on a pyramid and told me I need to be eating these every day in large quantities. Like that messed me up. That messed me up. I agree with you, Nick, on that one. That messed me up the most. And I was like, man, the way we eating is literally killing us. But yet we've been taught to consume these foods. Mind-boggling, man, because that's an addiction. You trying to break an addiction at that point, man. So when you come across that information, it's like, man, I got to stop trying to eat these foods. And that's hard. That's hard. That's probably the hardest thing you would do in your life, man, is just changing the way that you eat. When you done been eating toxic foods for 20, 30 years. That's hard, man. It's complicated. It's complicated. It's very challenging. So when you come across that information, man, that is depressing. That is depressing. You start looking at your parents in another light. You're gonna be like, dang, man, y'all was feeding me all this garbage food. Y'all was feeding me this bacon and this swine, like it's all bad for you. Like y'all was letting me eat this candy. Like you start looking at everybody around you that fed you in a different light once you start coming across that information, man. That's how powerful that information was, man. I was looking at everybody suspect, like, man, why was y'all feeding me this? Why was y'all giving me this cow's milk, man? It wasn't registering that they just didn't know. Like, I'm offended now. Like, I'm like, man, I feel like everybody should have been knowing this. So I'm looking at everybody sideways, man. I went through that phase too. I was like, man, y'all was feeding me this cow's milk, and they letting you know right here that cow's milk is linked to asthma. And I'm like, dang, man, I had asthma. So that's how I had my asthma. Like, I just started, I was getting upset. I was getting upset, man. I'm like, man, a lot of conditions that I faced could have been prevented. You know what I'm saying? So I was ready to spaz on everybody, man. The way we have been miseducated in regards to nutrition is ridiculous. Ridiculous. And it's still happening till this day. It's almost even worse to this day, man. It's almost worse. But the miseducation in regards to nutrition, crazy. Crazy. Oh, Joshua, man, that's deep, man. It's being a CO. That's deep. That's deep, man. But hey, at least you realize it. A lot of people don't even be realizing these facts. Beautiful God is Keys. Peace, Queen. What's happening? Dallas for sure, man. For sure. And again, basically, they tell you got to unlearn. That's what happened once I started acquiring all this information. I was like, I got to unlearn everything that I had learned in the school system, man. And it was crazy because all of the great things, all of the great theories and great buildings, the great civilizations had a white face attached to them. And I'm reading about all this time. I'm like, dang, man. So they really stole this from us. They ain't teach me this. So I'm frustrated. System is trash. The system is still trash, though. So that ain't changing. That perspective is never changing. Static. Man, every Amos, I recommend reading every book by Amos Wilson. But the Blueprint to Black Power, that book like 800 plus pages, that is the greatest book. That's literally the blueprint. If black people really want to change our situation, that book right there got every answer that you need. Literally. Every answer that you need. The Blueprint for Black Power, Amos N. Wilson. That book got every answer that we could possibly ask for, man, that we could possibly need. Book has every answer. I'm telling you, if you read only one book in your life, that's the book I would recommend read. Oh yeah, Q man. Hey, Malcolm was my man's for sure. I mean, I got a lot of under the radar people that I look up to, like Steve Coakley. George Jackson was another, you know what I'm saying, another powerful writer. George Jackson was powerful as well, man. But Steve Coakley used to drop that information, man. Steve Coakley was that dude. You could look him up on YouTube. Steve Coakley was the man, man. Who was Steve Coakley? Torenzo, peace. What's happening? Lindell, for sure. You definitely not gonna get it overnight, and that's why it becomes overwhelming. Because when you start learning about your story, you be like, man, it gets deep, man. And you just want to, all you want to do is sit and consume more information. And it's like time going against you at that point, man. You got a life to live out here, man. So it's like it gets overwhelming in that sense, you know. Q is always, yeah, it's definitely layers to every reality, man. It's all a matrix at the end of the day. It's all a matrix. Anais, man, I'm telling you, that's one of the most complicated things in life. Changing your eating habits. It's complicated, man. It's just complicated because again, the food is a drug. So you literally trying to break an addiction. You know, some people can cold turkey it overnight, but for most of civilization, it is a struggle. It's a struggle. And you just got to think about it, man. You 35, 30 years, 25 years of eating a certain type of way, then you read something that's telling you that the entire way that you was raised to eat is wrong. Like you know what I'm saying? Like that's you're like, hold on, you need time for that to register, man. You gotta look a bit more deeply into that because it's like, hold on, man, because I've been raised to eat this type of way. What y'all saying can't be right. So I gotta dig a little bit deeper, man. So that's what you end up doing. And the deeper you dig, man, the more you unravel. Oh, Nick, for sure. That's exactly what I did. Hence why I became a trainer and things of that nature. I'm like, man, it's wicked out here. It's real in the field. Like, parents are setting their children up for failure just by the way that they are eating while the child is in the womb, even before the child gets here, even before the child is conceived. Like the soil is trashed. You know what I'm saying? So we setting these children up for failure just off of our diets. You know what I mean? Like, even you take the first 3 letters of diet, what you got, you know what I'm saying? So we setting them up for death before they even get here. That's how deep the nutritional science is, man. Nice, there you go, man. You got to break the cycle, and that's the best way to break it. And Tony, and that's what I'm talking about. That correlates with this video. You got a lot of people that conscious about it, which basically I have the knowledge about how to eat properly, but I'm not putting it into motion. And that's the math. They stuck on one. So I got all the information, and everything they may be telling you, it could possibly be true, but they just not putting it into motion. And they don't understand what it is that they're saying. They don't understand why this is the best way to eat for humanity. They don't understand it. They just give you the information that they came across, and they feel like, for shock value purposes, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it because it's something different, it's something new. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't put this stuff into motion, especially when it comes to eating right. Man, a lot of people know the things that they shouldn't be eating, yet they still consume them. So a lot of people struggle with that. A lot of people struggle with it. Hey, Mac, man. Hey, listen, man. It's surprising the amount of people that still rock with the cow's milk when you got a million plant milks out here that they can substitute it for. Like, it's crazy. Static, read that book ASAP. That should be your next read. Foster Jacobs, peace, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Appreciate the words of wisdom, man. Words of encouragement and all of that. For sure. Wisdom, for sure, man. Like I say, we got to keep the best part preserved for ourselves, you know, and we got to settle on the best part. We settle on the worst part. We got to stop doing that. We settle on the worst part. We settle on the negative part. Gotta stop doing that. Like, that is the worst thing that we can do, and we always tend to do it. Settle on the best part. Keep the best part preserved for oneself. Gotta do that, man. Gotta do that. Gotta learn how to settle on that best part. And it's always the best part, man. So no matter how challenging your situation may be, guess what? It's always the best part. It's always a positive to it. It's always a positive to it. I don't care how traumatic the experience is or was. Is definitely something beneficial that can come from that traumatic experience, man. And you got to settle on the benefit. You got to settle on that best part. And you got to keep that best part preserved for yourself. We tend to keep the negative part or the worst part preserved for oneself. So a lot of times when it comes to our memories are filled with a lot of negative things that happened to us in the past, because that's all we settle on. We settle on the negatives. We settle on the most destructive part of the situation, not how we learn from it. You know what I'm saying? So we got to settle on that part, man. We got to settle on that part for sure. Roxanne, for sure, man. I respect that. Like I said, even before Noble Drew, y'all know I'm a 5%er. So, you know, we got who we call the father, Clarence 13X, if you're not within the nation, and you know that name. So you got to give him some respect as well. So it's a lot of people that we can mention for sure. It's a lot of people that we can mention, man, most definitely. Nick, hey, Naeem Akbar, the book I got, The Rock, man, they mentioned that brother in that book in regards to his ties with the Nation of Islam and whatnot. But yeah, I definitely fool with his books though. Was reading a lot of his books back in the day. Hey, Terenzo, we all for it. And Roxanne, that's the thing. See, you never really catch a vegan saying you become disease free by being vegan, because we know nothing is 100%, but that lifestyle decreases your chances of acquiring the most common diseases more than any other lifestyle. And that's backed by the numbers, you know? So that's what we are literally saying when we talk about veganism in relation to most diseases, the more common diseases. The statistics let you know that if you go vegan, it decreases your chances of acquiring the more common diseases. And we would rather take preventative measures than strive to reverse something. You know, so if you are a clean bill of health and you make the transition to the vegan lifestyle, your chances of acquiring the more common diseases or ailments are a lot lower than a person that's consuming the meat, the person that's vegetarian, things of that nature. And then even if you have acquired the ailment or disease, then your chances for reversing it increase if you adopt the vegan or plant-based lifestyle. Hence why the vegan lifestyle is now something that's looked to treat a lot of conditions. So a lot of people go plant-based or they go vegan when they have a condition, when they have an ailment, when they have a disease. And then once they reverse it, they eliminate the diet. They rid themselves of the vegan diet. So a lot of people nowadays, you will hear them go vegan because they got a condition, because they know the science. Mac, you say my mom, my aunt, and uncles were raised Muslim, yet only one of my uncles don't eat pork, and I never knew why, but learning why made me a little disappointed with him. And that's how I be. You get disappointed with him. That's how crazy it is. You sure be getting disappointed. Louisiana, peace. What's happening? Montel, what you say? You say basically, I'm getting out of this is that you go bit by bit when it comes to upgrading in all aspects, for sure. For sure. One day at a time. One day at a time, man. It's all about, and I always, when I'm talking to my clients and whatnot, man, when I'm talking to my clients, I always tell them to make something a lifestyle change. Make it a part of your lifestyle. That's the best way to make those changes, to evolve. Make it a part of your lifestyle. So when you come across some information, when you come across some knowledge, make it a part of your lifestyle. Make it a part of your lifestyle. Don't just look at it and say, I gotta get this information out to the masses for shock value so that I can get some attention, so that I can get some fame, so that I can sound smart. No, apply that to yourself. How can I use this information to better oneself? Like, that's what you do. You experiment with that information, your own life, and see how you can use that information to elevate. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Make everything a part of your life, man. Apply it to oneself. That's how you got to do it. Put that up on the screen for Terenzo there, man, just in case y'all need my brother's email. There we go. Tabitha Peach Queen, what's going on? What's happening? Oh, DJ Elmo, man, I can whole video on labeling and how they mislead us with the labels. Things labeled natural, even some of the things labeled organic are trash for you. Yeah, so they be doing us dirty with the labeling. That's a whole entire video though. That's a whole entire stream right there, man. They be doing us dirty with the labeling. So it may sound good on the label, but it can be killing you still. Not even could be, it is. Joshua, for sure, man. You definitely are not alone. Most definitely. Most definitely can guarantee that. Most definitely. Not alone, man. Like I said, if you don't feel comfortable nowhere else, you're gonna feel comfortable here. We're gonna see to it. E reacts. There you go. Antoinette, peace, queen. What's happening? DJ Elmo for sure, man. I could definitely agree to that. I could definitely agree to that. Andre, hey, the blueprint to Black Power. That's the only book. Yeah, that's the book I mentioned that I just read that book. Just read that book. Blueprint for Black Power by Amos Wilson. And any other book Amos N. Wilson has written. Lindell, we gonna throw that question up there. Lindell asked a good question. Say, I'm not a churchgoer. Do you feel churches should teach more Black history than their usual sermons? I know your answer, but I just want to hear your take on it. Of course, I feel like they should teach more Black history than their usual sermons. But I feel like one of the reasons why you won't catch a lot of churches teaching the proper Black history and going deep with it is because then if they do that, they church, their religion is going to be in question. So it's going to reach a point to where they have to stop with that information because of religion, like especially if it's like Christianity, Catholicism, or things of that nature, and it's a Black congregation. The information can only go so deep before they got to stop, because then the congregation gonna be like, whoa, wait a second, why are we following this religion? So I know why they don't get deep when it comes to the history of our people, because if they do, the congregation gonna end up just like all of us, questioning religion, questioning that religion. It's on. I mean, that's where it's gonna lead you. That's where it's gonna lead them. So in a sense, they gotta keep most of the congregation in the dark when it comes to our true history, the deep history, because it's going to lead to that congregation leaving that religion alone, leaving that church alone, you know, and that's just going to happen. I guarantee you that. You're not about to properly study our story and then still stay up in the church for the most part. Like, you're just not going to do it. Maze, nah, man, stay away from the Morning Star joint. Greg, for sure. Yeah, Amos Wilson, man. I'm glad to see a lot of people know about the joint, a lot about Amos Wilson. I'm glad to see a lot more people, lot more people hip to Amos Wilson, man. That's always a good thing. That's always a good thing, man. But Amos Wilson definitely inspired me, man, like no other, man. His work was instrumental in just changing my whole paradigm and my perspective, man. Big shout out to Amos Wilson. Like his work, and then another one, I done brought some of his books up, man. But Ashaka Musa Barashango, and Lindell, he's actually somebody that's like, man, I forgot what his religion was, man, but he was like a pastor or a priest or something along those lines. I forgot what he is, man. Matter of fact, I could look it up. I could look it up real quick, man. Let me see what he actually was, man. Let me see if I can find some information on it. Or I could be mistaken. Now, he might not have been any of that, but he dropped the truth though. You want to get some history in regards to like these holidays and all that type of stuff, man. Shaka Musa Barashango, his books crazy. His books go in, then they short joints, man. Get right to the point going in on. But Shaka Musa Barashango, his work is powerful. If you ever heard Razkaz Nature of the Threat song, he quoted a lot of Shaka Musa Barashango. He got a lot of his information from Shaka Musa Barashango and his work. But yeah, that's another, man. I was reading a lot. I was reading the Shaka Musa Barashango, Amos Wilson. Of course, you know what I'm saying, Malcolm X, was reading and watching everything pertaining to him. A lot of Elijah Muhammad joints. Huey Newton. Read everything by Huey Newton. Of course, Asada Shakur, man, her joint was crazy. And props to Sister Soldier for, you know what I'm saying, back in the day, how she went hard. Man, what else was I reading back in the day, man? That was just changing the kid, man. I mean, Dr. Ben, John Henry Clark, reading all of that. I was on all of that, man. I was on all of them, man. They was all, of course, brothers behind me. Y'all already know, man. But I was studying all of them, man. Those, like, they was shifting the paradigm at that particular point in time, man. And that information, like I said, was real overwhelming, man. When I was just learning about everything. And then still trying, like, what's crazy when you start getting that information, that knowledge of self, as we call it, you know what I'm saying? You're a young black man with this information, and you still got to somehow interact with society. That was my hard part, adjusting. So once I got this information, it was hard for me to, like, deal with humanity, because I'm just looking at everybody differently, man, because I'm trying to drop this information on people. They not receptive. And then I'm analyzing, like, everything in these books saying, I'm just analyzing it. They talking about how brainwashed we are. Then I'm actually seeing it in other people. So it's like, man, it was hard, man. It was hard for me to have conversations with people. It's still a little bit complicated. But that was a big part of it too, man. I was getting this information, man. That's when I started to become way more isolated, because it was like, man, I wasn't really able to have a lot of cordial conversations with individuals, because I just be looking at you like, man, come on, man. Like, you still subscribing to this, you still believe in that. Like, don't you see what they doing to us? Like, don't you see what's happening? Like, don't you see how they treating us? Why are you still rocking with this, man? Like, what you on? Like, when I was young, I used to be a lot more aggressive with it. Like, I couldn't fathom how some people could still allow themselves to be bamboozled, you know what I'm saying, as they say. Y'all still out here, y'all, back when they was voting, y'all still out here voting, knowing how the system doing this. Like, I couldn't tolerate it. And for the most part, the everyday average Joe that you walk into, they gonna be subscribing to all of the nonsense out here. They gonna be brainwashed. They gonna be brain dead. You know what I'm saying? So it's rough, man. When you changing the way you eating and everybody around you still eating trash, like, you changing the way that you thinking, everybody around you still thinking trash. You didn't remove yourself from the church, but everybody around you still religious. Like, man, it was rough. Like, that's probably the roughest part about it. When they say it's lonely at the top, like, it's lonely with the knowledge, man, especially when you put it into motion and start living out that information. It can be a lonely road, man, because most of the people you come across ain't gonna understand it. Then when you, like, the dating process, like, when you talking to different people, you're gonna have to explain yourself a lot, because you pretty much gonna be unorthodox. Like, you going out to eat and you gotta tell them, no, I don't eat, like, you know what I'm saying, don't put no bacon on there, I don't eat no meat. Now you gotta break this down to the person, like, why you don't do this. They may go to church, you gotta break down why you don't fool with the church. It's like everything, you gonna have to break down your whole entire existence, which is cool, but that gets draining after a while. It gets draining, like, having to break down everything. Every move you make, you gotta break it down and explain it, because it's different. Like, that gets draining. And mostly everybody you're gonna come across, they not gonna be on the same wave as you are, the same frequency as you. So you're gonna have to educate them. And like I said, sometimes that can get draining if you got to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? If you got to continue to educate people and continue to explain yourself to people, after a while you get tired of it. Like, after a while you get tired of doing that, man. But that was a real problem, man. I just got tired of it. Like, man, I'm having to explain everything, like small stuff, like why I don't want bacon on something. It's like, man, because it ain't healthy. Like, I don't feel like having to explain this, man. Like, it should be common sense as to why I don't want the bacon bits on my joint. Like, bacon is not good for you. Like, why don't you know this? Like, I used to be on that type of vibe for real. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. It's like, why don't you know this? Like, why are you still eating bacon? Like, you criticizing me for not wanting the bacon. Why are you eating it? That should be the question. You know what I'm saying? So, had a lot of situations like that, man. I know a lot of people that have experienced things similar to that, man. It can get rough in the field, man, especially. And shout out to my brothers and sisters that's dating currently, man, and just trying to find a significant other. I know how that can be, man. You know what I'm saying? You talking to people out here and they ain't on that same wavelength as you, man. And it's like, you got to ask yourself, you know what I'm saying? You got to be like, hold on, like, they ain't on this level of thinking, but, like, do I see potential in them and things of that nature, man? So you got to just be mindful of stuff like that. Got to be mindful of stuff like that, man. It's real. It's real. All things must be considered before you make that decision in regards to who you choose to be with. But that's a real problem that a lot of people face, man. That come across a lot of this information and put it into motion. When you're dating out here, man, most of the people that you come across ain't on the same type of stuff that you own. We got to just be real. They not going to be on it. You're going to have to introduce them to the lifestyle. Like, point blank, period. And sometimes that can work out for the betterment, or sometimes that can be detrimental. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So shout out to y'all, man. I know it's a lot of brothers. I know it's a lot of sisters out here that got the knowledge of self, upstanding people, and the dating process is not going the way that they want it to go because they coming across people that ain't even striving to be not more knowledgeable, ain't even striving to have knowledge of self. All they worried about is like materialistic things of that nature, man. So I feel for y'all, man. I feel for y'all. I feel for y'all. It's rough out here. I already know, because we the minority in regards to people that think like us and move like us and live like us. We are the minority. So you're gonna have to make more compromises than the average Joe at the end of the day. And that's the sad reality. Oh, Justin, for sure. Yeah, his books dope for sure. Yeah, his books dope for sure. Yeah, that spirituality before religion and Shabaka Stone, those are some on Amazon, they got 5 stars, you know. That was some powerful joints. Yeah, that's some powerful joints for sure though. Oh, Mac, man, for yeah, and I used to be like that. Cal, peace, what's happening? What's happening? And I used to be like that, man. And that was the thing. A lot of people thought that I was funny, but when I used to be dead serious. So I used to be like dead serious, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you like? Why are you asking me these questions about something that should be common sense that everybody should be practicing and doing? Like, I don't understand you right now. What do you mean why I don't want to celebrate this holiday? Like, we shouldn't be celebrating this holiday in the first place. Like, it says it right here in your Bible not to be fooling with Christmas trees. Like, it's right here. Like, what are you doing? Like, do you read your book? Like, I used to be annoyed. I used to be annoyed with people, man. I used to be annoyed that people did not know about things that they were following. Like that didn't sit well with me. Like, how you following this whole way of life and you don't know that it's right here in this book that you shouldn't be celebrating this day. You shouldn't be putting up a Christmas tree. It's right here. The Christmas tree is condemned. You following this religion. You had this book everywhere in the crib, yet you don't read it. Like, I couldn't stand that. Couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand that type of stuff. I still can't stand that really. But back then it used to bother me, and I was a lot more aggressive with it, and I would point it out, and I would really go in on people. You know what I'm saying? I would pull up the Bible verse and everything. I would bring a Bible out of the closet and show them the verse highlighted, like, here it is. I'm reading your book more than you, and I don't even fool with it. Joshua, for sure. That's how it is for the most part. That's how it is for the most part, man. They not striving to understand one another. My way is right, your way is wrong. Anything that goes against my way or my religion is wrong. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it is. They could be pretty much having the same principles, but at the end of the day, if it ain't using the same language and the same name, then it's wrong. But in principle, they saying the same exact thing. Greg, for sure, man. You got to be patient. You got to be patient, man. You got to be patient when you coming with this information and you out here dating and understanding that everybody ain't gonna have this type of information and living that way of life. You got to understand it. It ain't saying that your way of life is better than theirs. It's just different, you know. So patience has got to be key. All right, Roxanne, for sure. You bring me back to the survival kit when I had my canned goods and my water and all of that. Oh, Kyle, for sure. For sure. Like I said, I used to point it out. I used to point it out every holiday, man. I used to point it out every time. Never failed. I used to point it out. I used to go right in, like, hey, we shouldn't be doing this, man. We shouldn't be. Do you know why you celebrate this? Like, you know what I'm saying? But that tended to cause more arguments than I really wanted at that particular point. So I just deviated from doing all of that. I'm like, I'm good. I don't really have time to be arguing with people now. You know, you would think people would be more receptive to the truth in regards to a whole lifestyle that they are embracing and following. But people cool with following something blindly. So if you cool with it, I'm cool with it. I ain't gonna convert you to no truth, man, because again, the truth is not something that you can be converted to. The truth just is. Can't convert you to the truth, man. Can't do that. Like, the truth ain't no religion out here. Like, can't convert you to that truth. Truth just, it is what it is. You either accept the truth or you reject the truth. It ain't no converting over to the truth. You either accept it or reject it. So if I give you the truth and you reject it, then that's it. You have rejected the truth and you are following something blindly. At the end of the day, that's what it is. And the stuff that I'm talking about is not an opinion, none of that. Like, it's right, like, even in regards to Christmas, like, it's right there in the book. It is letting you know that you should not be rocking with Christmas trees and things of that nature. It's right there in the book. This ain't, I didn't misinterpret it. Like, it's not an opinion. It's not me just making something up. It's right there. So, like, that's literally the truth. And you just choosing to ignore the truth. And that's it. Like, just if more people would just admit that they are ignoring the truth and they reject the truth, then I'd be cool. I'd be cool with it. But a lot of people ain't gonna do that. They gonna use some type of justification in regards to why they still following this particular way of life or this particular tradition, and that's it. People ain't gonna admit to rejecting the truth, man. They ain't gonna admit to it. They ain't gonna admit to that at all. Which is a sad reality. But you know what I'm saying? The world would be a better place, man, if everybody just admitted the truth, man. The world would be a better place if everybody just admitted that they was rejecting the truth out here, man. They following things blindly. I can accept that. I can accept that for sure. But man, with that being said, man, I think it's time for me to get my smoothie on, man. I gotta get me a smoothie on, man. So I think I'm gonna have to tap out for today, man. This was a powerful stream, as always, man. It's always peace. Always peace. I appreciate all of y'all, man. I appreciate comments, the cash apps and all that type of stuff, man, that people sent, man. So it's always peace, it's always love. But I'm gonna have to go ahead and exit, give them a smoothie on. Y'all need to make sure y'all still consuming y'all fruits right now and getting y'all water in and things of that nature. And if you haven't did your workout, then you need to get your workout in ASAP. You know what I'm saying? Those are important. But I'm gonna go ahead and tap out for today. I'm gonna catch y'all again. What today is Tuesday. So I'm gonna catch y'all again on Friday, and I'm gonna give y'all about 2 days to just consume and digest everything that I put out. Then we're gonna come back Friday with some more information, man. We're gonna deliver on some more information on Friday. So y'all take it easy for the rest of today. Then Wednesday and Thursday, y'all be easy out here, y'all. I'm out. Peace.